Welcome everybody to the Yoga Journal podcast. I am here with Tara Oleinik, a yoga instructor, and we are going to be talking today about your yoga journey and just how you got into yoga. How did you first get into yoga?
Yes, so I got my bachelor's in exercise science and my master's. And when I got my master's, I was able to do my internship at the Cooper Institute in Dallas, Texas. And while I worked there, we were given an hour and a half for our lunch break, but it was assumed that you would use it to work out. It was so nice, and they had a state-of-the-art fitness facility and lots of classes, and I started going to yoga there.
That's awesome.
And that's when I started doing it and loving it.
So is that kind of what inspired you to become a yoga instructor?
Yes, I had two teachers, Sarah and Key, and when I first decided to become a teacher, I really modeled myself after both of them.
Okay, awesome. That's great. So how do you define yoga beyond just your physical practice?
That's a deep question. I think about it as a reset for me. If I think about how exercise affects me and how I need it daily, I think about how yoga focuses me. And so I would say the word that best fits for that question is a reset.
So what are some of the most common misconceptions people have about yoga?
The most common misconception that I get is they think it's all about stretching.
Right.
I mean, everyone comes up to me and they say, I need to stretch more, I'm not flexible. And that is a component of yoga, as you and I both know, but it's not the full component. There's so much more to it than that, especially strength. A lot of people don't think of it as strength at all. And I know there's different forms, but for the way that I teach, I always have to kind of talk with people about how, yeah, you can get more flexible doing yoga, but you can also improve your strength and lots of other things.
All right, awesome. So what has been the most rewarding aspect of being a yoga instructor for you?
The most rewarding aspect for me is if someone does my class and understands how exercise affects your health and your body, and they decide to move their body throughout their lifespan. So it doesn't have to be that they choose to do yoga, but that they see how it makes them feel and how it makes them better, and they choose to do some form of physical activity. So that's the most rewarding thing for me, is if someone takes a class and then they decide to move more because of it.
Right, yeah, absolutely. How do you think yoga can benefit mental health, especially in today's fast-paced world?
So there is a thing called cognitive dissonance, and that is the concept that your brain can only think about one thing at a time. And when we're doing yoga, it's all about focusing. And if you do yoga classes, research studies show that people feel less stressed. They feel more capable to handle their everyday problems, because during those times that you're in yoga, you're focusing on being on your mat or doing that hard pose or nuancing the pose in some way. And then after the class, you probably feel better because the endorphins are being released, the serotonin and the dopamine. So that's how I think it could help with all the mental strain today.
Yeah. Can you share a memorable moment or experience that had a significant impact on your yoga practice or teaching journey?
So in my exercise science career, I've been really blessed. I've been able to work with the elderly and with children, but my favorite job was working for the city of Nashville. And I was able to create a worksite wellness program for them. And we started with 12 departments. And the two that we really focused on were the police department and the fire department. And the most memorable thing was I supervised a registered dietitian, and she and I would go into the police precincts and in the fire halls, and we would teach healthy lifestyle classes. So I would lead yoga classes and talk about setting up exercise prescriptions for yourself, and she would teach healthy cooking classes. And it was really impactful, and I loved that job. And I would not have left it, but my husband asked me to marry him. So that's why I left that job. So that was my most memorable.
Well, that's a good reason to leave your job. So my last question for you is, what is your favorite yoga pose or sequence and why?
I like that you asked that. So my old favorite was Bird of Paradise.
Okay.
That's like been my favorite for years. But lately, I've been going to classes a lot for myself. And so my new favorites are one arm wheel, which we did in class when I taught you, but Wild Thing, Fallen Star, and I really love balancing half moon. I've been using it a lot in my classes. I'll do it at the beginning of class and then also add it in the middle. But I love all the sequences, especially going from challenging balance poses into another challenging balance pose.
Oh, yeah.
That's lately, for my practice, what I've been into.
That's awesome. So can you tell me a little bit more about your practice lately? What are you loving the most about it?
Well, there are times of life where you're not able to practice as much, as you know. And this is a time of life where I am able to practice a little bit more, which is just enjoyable in general. And you can see the progress you make when you're able to go consistently. And like I said, I've been going to Yoga 6 in New Tampa, and they turn it up to 100 degrees. And so no matter what, I'm getting a hard sweat, and that's what I like. And I like to do the really challenging poses. So it's been good.
Yeah, that's great. Do you ever feel like you need to just do a relaxing kind of, like a slow vinyasa workout?
I have to say, for me, no. I'll usually go for a walk if I need a different pace. But if I'm going to do yoga, I don't know, there's something in me that I always want that hard, fast-moving, flowing style.
Oh, yeah. It's very interesting because I feel like some people feel more or get more out of yoga with the slower paced styles. But I mean, for me also, I love like a good hot yoga class where you're just doing like challenging pose after challenging pose. Like that is what I get. Like I get the most out of those classes.
Same for me.
But yeah, it's very interesting to see. Yeah. All right. Well, that's all I have today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and thank you, Tara, for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.